Got a question. What What do you guys think I should do on my show? I haven't been doing this for a long time. I do the tuning fork stuff. I do the I just talk about my life and uh, opinions and philosophies. I talk about that invention of forgiveness-based money. Um, what what do I have to offer that you guys like? And that's just what I'm wondering here. Um, what what kind of value can we build between one another? And by coming together and doing a show, today I worked on my teeth. I put some hydrogen peroxide in what in some coconut oil and hydrogen peroxide, and then this light. It's a I got this at the Aldi's food store. Sometimes they have specials of different kinds of things. They don't sell it regularly. Now they probably wouldn't have it. But you plug it into your cell phone and it lights up with a ultraviolet light. And then I put it in my mouth with the hydrogen peroxide and the coconut oil. And it's doing a great job of breaking up the yellow on my teeth. But it's also like you can't do it too long because it deteriorates some of the flesh um, in the gums and the tender skin under the tongue. Man, that's where it feels really odd. But I'm going to the dentist on Thursday and hoping to get some of these fillings. I got like a big cavity at the top of this tooth, top of each of my eye teeth. Gosh knows where else I might have cavities. And so they're going to take a look at it all and get me fixed up. That'll be good. I hope I can forestall this tooth from breaking off. That would be like, I know I've had relatives who've had, a missing front tooth up there. Who knows what that does to a person's confidence? It would be hard to rebuild. I've also got a microscope, and that I can do video microscope coverage of something. Maybe we could do a sunburn, and show what's happening on the skin as um, as we do like a sunburn or the objective is for like eczema. If we could find somebody who's got eczema or psoriasis, we could take a microscope to it and we could watch how the retinoic acid is doing a chemical burning of the skin. I like to talk about vitamin A, and how we should avoid it, how it causes us harm, how the medical establishment thinks it's essential, but they also have warnings against there's upper toxicity limits that are only 3 times as high, from memory is what I'm saying, only 3 times as high as the recommended daily allowance. Usually the toxic level is 10 times higher than the recommended daily allowance of something. So something's really off in the vitamin A world. And that should clue you in. We could talk about technology. We could talk about AI. I like to use AI to write software. And I got a little hobby going. I'm trying to write a trading program that'll monitor the markets, and then make strategic buys and sells at specific times. Hi, glad you're jumping in and watching. I call this Joe Baker's Remedy Report. It's about trying to get remedy from when the police harmed me years and years ago. So there's that kind of remedy. There's remedies at law. There are remedies about health. Well, that's good. At least I had one person watching for a short while. I've got to work on these wrinkles, man. I'm getting older. It's just not fair. And then I wear these glasses, man, and it amplifies the wrinkles. Oh well, they're character lines, right? That's what people say. Still, there's a big sadness and emptiness, like about trying to get remedy for the things that have happened to my friends, the things that have happened to me, the things that will continue to happen in the world to all sorts of people. Because the criminal courts, when I say criminal, I don't mean over criminal behavior. I mean the courts themselves are behaving in criminal ways. And, the judges, the child trafficking that's going on, the bribery that goes on. And there's all these things that make me want to do something about it all. And I don't know, probably the most peace that I can find in the whole matter is forging ahead with the idea of forgiveness as a monetary asset. Everybody's all hooked on the idea of, well, not everybody, but many, of acquiring money and using money to satisfy their needs. And it's just, it's amazing humanity is as good as it is when there's such a deteriorating force against our ethos as using money, and money that's based on debt and scarcity. But money based on forgiveness is a new breed, a new concept. It's something that recognizes the infinite worth of each individual, and that's that could have really good effects on the human race. I hope we could get there. I've sure pushed forward a lot of effort into that. You'll see two different websites two that you should take note of on that topic. When you go to Forgiveness Capital, you see one for Remedy Coin and antimoney.net, and those are both projects based on the idea of forgiveness-based money. Let's add another one that you'll see there. It's called Forgiveness Public License.org. And that one is revolutionary. I mean, I'm sort of a revolutionary sort of person in thoughts, ideas, and blending all the angst about what's going on in the world, what has been going on, and so forth, with the idea of seeking harmony, peace and love. And that's where Forgiveness Public License, comes forward out, and having been beaten by cops within, they expressed their intent to kill me, and then, or to shoot me anyway, and then stomped on my head 3 times. If these other officers hadn't started arriving at the scene, that officer would have surely done me in. So the only way I think I can get back at them is to forgive them in this special way that I've outlined on forgivenesspubliclicense.org. It's a way that doesn't harm them at all. It calls them out for what they did, but it puts them back in honor by forgiving them and putting them in honor. Because I'm the only one who can put them in honor for what they did to me. I'm the only one. I am the absolute high judge of this matter, and they harmed the hell out of me. So this can become an asset that becomes the inheritance for everyone on Earth, of millions, like I think it's $20 million per each of 8 billion people. I don't know. We got to check on what the numbers are on Earth now these days of us. Oh, there's somebody in the chat room. By gosh, by golly. Bud, hello, Bud. Good to see you there. I'll put you back on the screen too. Great. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. I've been working on this other invention of it's so hard. I have this confusion in my brain that keeps me from accomplishing a lot of things. So it's kind of an anxiety, kind of makes me want to get up and walk around. I can't. I have to stop saying that, but that's part of it. Is that I get to be the one who sits down and resists the urge to stand up and walk around. One of the things I've been doing that I found helpful when I get in a spiraling thought of a difficult nature, or something I don't want to think about, I put my fingers here near my temples, and it's like I'm pinching and pulling like a balloon or something, right? And I pull that out, and it enables my brain or something to just clear, and I feel better. I feel feel like I could almost channel right now. Let's try it. Hello. Hello, and welcome to Joe Baker's Remedy Report. I feel relaxed and comfortable. I'm glad we're tuning in right now. I sense there's something to be said or just a greeting. Hello, you can go ahead and speak if you have something to say. All right. Well, that was something out of the ordinary. I I like to wear the glasses so I can see, but I don't like how all the light reflects off the glasses and you can't see my eyeballs. And I've got this other pair, a little different. Oh, that looks better, doesn't it? You can see my eyes. These are reading glasses, so I have to get real close to the screen. Yep. So this will be great. Get to the doctor, the dentist, and another thing that's happened. I got diagnosed with kidney disease, third stage kidney disease. So we'll see how that goes. I've been eating a lot of beef and protein, and I was pushing pretty hard on a detox protocol. And in the past, I've taken EDTA to pull metals out. And well, it looks like I got the metals all out, but now my kidneys are kind of suffering. You can see the bubbles in the pee, probably proteinemia. But I think this all has something to do with vitamin A and retinol binding protein and cadmium. You find cadmium in chocolate and other foods too. And well, cadmium can interfere with the retinol binding protein connecting to and surrounding vitamin A. Normally, retinol binding protein would protect your body's tissues from the harmful effects of this retinoic acid. But if cadmium happens to be present, I think it's cadmium, yeah, then it won't allow the retinol to go into the it's like a little garage or something inside the protein. So yeah, I'm trying to figure all this stuff out. Oh, I think I had a page open here about milk. I don't see it anymore. How about I look? Oh, that would be a nice thing. There it is. I found it. Oh, it's on the same window as I'm streaming. All right. So I'll share it with you. Maybe we can read it, and I'll try to explain what it is. maybe you'll understand why maybe milk isn't. Hi, Maureen. Maureen Mandel. I see you saying hi there. Haven't done this in a while. Let's change the format of this. How's that looking? Oh, I didn't show it on the screen yet. I don't have to be that small. All right, here's a study from, who's it from here? Full text source. Let's see, Cambridge University Press. And we're just looking at the abstract. The influence of microorganisms on retinol isomerization in milk. Isomerization. It's like where it breaks down. When it interacts with microorganisms, this vitamin A, which is retinol, it changes and it reorganizes. Even having the same atoms in the molecule, still they clump together differently, and we get different isomers. We call them isomers when the molecule is made of the same atoms, but they're arranged in a different way. So where does retinol come from in milk? When they eat green grass, the cow eats green grass, they're getting vitamin A. When they drink milk from their mother, they're getting vitamin A. There's vitamin A in a lot of foods, particularly, the rich yellows and red color fruits and vegetables. Oh, and dark green, like leafy vegetables, grass would have vitamin A, and it's harmful. I'll lay it out there and tell you. And humanity we'd be almost like superhumans if we figured out how to get this out of our diets. So, looks like if I had to guess, this is like out of Italy or something by those names. Abstract. In order to have deeper insight into the retinol isomerization phenomenon, in this work, different milk samples have been analyzed for their content of trans retinol and its cis isomers, CIS isomers, by means of reliable HPLC techniques. Oh, I looked that up. I had AI explain that. It's a chromatography. Some kind of lighting techniques to be able to identify the different types of retinol that are found. Let's see, levels of the different isomers and the degree of retinol isomerization. 13 cis / all trans ratio. So 13 cis retinoic acid here is the same as, I think it's the same as two other names of retinoic acid, or forms of vitamin A. And one of them is called Accutane, and another word for it is isotretinoin. And that bugger is really, really aggressive in its toxicity. They're all toxic, but they have, in their different forms, they seem to be a little. That's my take on it, right? So the all trans ratio have been monitored during milk storage at different temperatures and after addition of specific microorganisms in raw milk stored at 4 degrees Celsius for 96 hours. The degree of retinol isomerization shifted from 1.1 to 2.3%, while in raw milk stored at 22 degrees C for 24 hours, it increased from 1.1 to 12% among microorganisms tested in pasteurized milk. The most active in causing an increment in the 13-cis all-trans ratio percentage from 3.4 to 33.4% in 8 hours was Streptococcus thermophilus. This one. Oh. The results obtained demonstrated a relationship between microbial evolution and retinol isomerization. Therefore, the determination of retinol isomers is of importance, not only for a more precise evaluation of vitamin A activity, but also for the evaluation of the microbiological quality of milk. So, what we have here, I'm going to experiment with the screen a little bit. What we have here is evidence that different types of microbial influences in the presence of milk can make the vitamin A worse in the body. So what you've got is, some people have different kinds of flora, different composition of their gut biome. So while someone might drink milk and not have so much of a response to it, another might, and I want to put on my thinking cap here and make some guesses. This is speculation, but that mental issues that people face could be caused by certain bacterial microbial influences in the gut biome interacting with the consumption of vitamin A, causing a buildup of these higher levels of isotretinoin or 13-cis retinoic acid, or Accutane, if you want to call it that. And that can really cause, depressions, sleep disorders, suicidal impulses. And the complexity of all this is that our livers accumulate these toxins, and they also accumulate in the fat of our bodies. Those of you who are real skinny, who can't gain weight, that's kind of a problem. You probably live a shorter lifetime than those who can get fat. It's good to get on this and make some corrections in our diet. No matter where we are, we're all being affected by vitamin A. and it's affecting everyone around us. And this whole cancer industry is about our inability to face the toxicity of our world and come up with a better way of dealing with it. So I'm going to play around with the screen a little bit. See these different selections we have. I do this for Dr. Smith. I run his show, and sometimes it's nice to be able to experiment around instead of being live and on an important broadcast. So I help out Dr. Smith with his shows about vitamin A, and that's where I've learned in depth, from watching probably 160 of his live streams. Um, it's a very deep thing. You can look at his site as a Nutrition Detective here on YouTube. On X, he is NutriDetect, NutriDetect. It's in there somewhere. Maybe I've got a. Anyway, so at this stage, I don't think milk is our friend. I mean, we're trying to reevaluate the importance of calcium in our diets and everything, and it's a very strange thing. Um, it seems like there's evidence of taking calcium supplementation causes problems, but calcium in our food seems to be okay. There's problems with taking vitamin D, and there's problems with taking vitamin A, and there's problems with taking vitamin E. So, yeah. Well, let's see what we can do. If this, oh, I'm interested if somebody wants to get me one of those X39 patches. I'd like to test it out. I've got a methodology I can use with baking soda and a glass of water. I should do it. I've got some of these other patches from some other companies that I was thinking about, reselling. And there's a difference. You hear about these patches, you put them on, they give you better energy and all this. But there's a way to do that. You can get more energy by, clamping your liver down and not allowing it to dump its toxicity out. Let's see. I do have a website for the health things that I talk about. There it is. When you're sick and you take vitamin C, it's like putting a valve on your liver so your liver doesn't dump out toxins. And it's your toxins that are making you feel bad. It's the toxins that make you weak and achy. So, shutting down the valve on the liver from doing that. It might be good for the rest of your body, but it isn't good for your liver. No, no, no. Your liver needs to be able to flow these toxins out, and you need to learn how to manage um, the bile and the toxins that are coming out of the liver, and to help your body to be able to maintain when it's dumping lots of toxins out. We do that with tricks like taking some charcoal, um, taking soluble fiber, maybe some oatmeal, um, maybe apples, bananas. Um, but the idea is to help, not to take trigger foods that make you dump too much bile. Like when you go and you're going to go speak in front of an audience or something, and you get nervous. Those nerves trigger your liver to dump more bile, more toxicity. And if you don't have food in your small intestines to kind of absorb that toxicity will just get reabsorbed from the intestinal walls through interhepatic circulation, and it goes back to the liver again. But first, it goes on this wild ride around your body, and you feel awful from the toxins, until the liver can kind of get them back under control again. It's a filter for the blood, and gets those levels back under control. Well, look, this has been an episode of Joe Baker's Remedy Report, a show about bringing harmony to the world through economic innovations, health tips, and increased awareness. And I hope each of you has a wonderful life. And I hope that you have the clarity of mind to get things done and can accomplish all those dreams that you set forth to do. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.